Hey, everybody. Welcome to Rightsize Your Life. We're the virtual program produced by the Southern California News Group in conjunction with the Bay Area News Group. And I'm Sam Dunn. I'm the senior editor for premium content here at the Southern California News Group. I need to say thank you to our Reader Rewards subscribers for supporting our virtual programs and for supporting everything we do. And if you are a Reader Reward subscriber attending today, you're automatically entered to win a $50 gift card for Amazon. Last month's winner was Sam Gupta. Sam, we hope you're joining us again today, and we hope you're enjoying that gift certificate. And now, real talk, you guys. If you're not a subscriber, why aren't you a subscriber? Please become a stakeholder in local journalism. It really makes a difference. If you're in Southern California, go to scng.com/subscribe to find your local paper. And if you're in the Bay Area, go to the bayareanewsgroup.com and join us as a regular reader. Before we get rolling, there are a few things I need to tell you. If you have questions, and we hope you do, please use the Q&A feature on your Zoom toolbar at the bottom of your screen. The questions are going to be addressed at the end of the presentation, so don't worry, it's coming. But certainly, if you want to make any comments meanwhile, use the chat feature found on your Zoom toolbar as well. And don't worry, you're not going to miss a thing because this session is videotaped and a link will be sent to you so you can share or just revisit some of your favorite moments. It's also going to be posted on YouTube and at scng.com/virtual events. And that's where you can find all of our past virtual shows, as well as see what's coming up. Speaking of coming up, now it's my pleasure to introduce our show's host, Marnie Jameson. Marnie's a syndicated columnist for our news group and read in papers nationwide. She's also a popular speaker and author of several books, including Right Size Today to Create Your Best Life Tomorrow and Downsizing the Family Home. Marnie, welcome back. It's always so good to see you.
Thank you, Sam. It's always so nice to be with you guys. And I want to thank all of our viewers for spending an hour. I know you have lots of
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit, Marnie.
And I'm happy that one of them is spending time with me.
Oh, great. There you are.
You're back? You can hear me?
Back. I can hear you now. I'm gonna
right.
pop off. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the end of the show.
All right. Well, I was just welcoming you and thanking you for spending your lunch hour with me. I know there's lots that you could be doing, but today we're going to talk about a new way to look at your stuff. And for once, I'm not going to harp on getting rid of stuff, although there's a little bit of that, but I'm going to talk more about how to buy the right stuff. So in my book, and maybe Julie can show you the next slide, Right Size Today, I spend the first 2/3 of the book talking about how to pick a place to live, like where you should live, where in the world you should live. And then the second part of the book, I talk about what you should live in, the kind of housing, whether it's a condo, a golf community, a beach house, mountain cabin, you get the idea. So while actively choosing where to live and in what kind of home to live in, as important is thinking about what to live with. And that's where we're going to go today. So the big idea is if you're knowledgeable and discerning about what makes a product, a household good, great, you won't buy things that disappoint and are just so-so, and therefore you won't fill your home with subpar materials or mediocre products, items you don't really love. And B, the second good part of knowing what to buy and buying it right, is as you go through your things, which you will, you'll have a better sense of what to get rid of. If it doesn't meet the standard that you're now going to have, the bar we're now going to set for getting stuff, you will know that you can let it go. You can let it go with more peace of mind, because a lot of people hang on to subpar things because they really don't know how to replace them right, or they say, well, I spent good money on it, or they just don't know why. They don't give themselves permission to let go of subpar things. But what if you had only items you loved, and used and fit and worked in your home, and you didn't have to struggle with stuff that was just mediocre? So I kind of look at it like a body analogy. Let's say you worked really hard to get healthy and fit, and your body was in great shape, but then you filled it up with Doritos and French fries and Budweiser and Oreos, right? Instead of healthy, wholesome food. So it's the same idea, is to make sure that you have good quality things in your home that you've worked so hard to get just right. So the vision is this: imagine opening your cupboards and closets and drawers, and finding only well-made items that worked and lasted and excelled at their jobs and elevated your quality of life. You had no sheets that didn't fit right or didn't breathe, no towels that weren't thirsty, no pans that scorched your food, no pillows that fell flat, no sofas that you avoided because they were uncomfortable. Instead, everything was a pleasure to use and look at and live with, and it was all money well spent. Wouldn't that be great? Who wouldn't want that, right? So unfortunately, our homes are often filled with the opposite. They're overflowing with these subpar products, and we fill our homes with unsatisfying stuff because we just didn't know what to get in the first place. So the big idea here is to, before you buy things, know the properties, not the brand, not the advertising special, but the properties that a product needs to have to do its job really, really well. And you need to know better than to fall for the advertising hype, the celebrity endorsement, the fancy packaging, and the hot deals. Now, I'm not offended by hot deals. In fact, I love hot deals, but only if those hot deals are for items that pass muster. They need to be the right thing to buy. And if they happen to be on sale, well, and you need it, then go get it. So entire industries have formed across North America, helping residents pare down and better manage their belongings. I mean, since when 20, 40 years ago, we didn't have this explosion of organizers and professional organizers, and the offsite storage industry is also just exploding. But this is all because we didn't buy the right items the first time in many cases. So we're going to fix that, okay? Today, the solution starts with knowing what to look for. So while my book covers it goes to every room in the house and covers the main items that every room needs, today we're going to go to 3 rooms and pick 2 items from each room and talk about, so you get the idea. We'll talk about how to buy certain items the first time. And you'll realize that owning fewer, better items leads to living large while spending less. And yeah, you might spend a little more for those items to get the quality, but you won't buy them again and again. All right, so, and I'll just tell you a little bit about, why do I know this? Like, how did I get here? It took 20 years, that's all. And I've been writing this column for 20 years, the home and lifestyle column. And my motivation way, way back was a question I had. I'd look around me and say, how do you get to live like that? I'd see these beautiful homes and beautifully furnished and beautiful lives, and like, why does my home look like a shipwreck? I'm trying to make things, better. So I decided I'd write about it. And I talked to top experts in pretty much every field. And I've written over 1,000 columns over 20 years. So I've touched on a lot of these questions. And I'm just channeling, I think, what a lot of your thoughts are. Like, how do you live more beautifully, effortlessly, more elegantly, more affordably? And the expert gave me an answer. So I was frustrated by wasting my money on products that overpromised and underdelivered. So with all that, here we get into a sampling of what of our 6 products. Okay, Julie, next slide. In the kitchen, are the slides working, Julie? In the kitchen, we're going to start there. It can be a clutter trap. So a lot of items, you just keep buying gadgets and they clutter up your space and they overtake. This is a hardworking space, and every single inch needs to pull its weight, and it's easy to get too many items in it. So today we're going to talk about a couple of items that you can buy right, and then you'll, by extension, get the rest of your products in line in your kitchen too. And I'm going to start today with the lowly dish towel. Now, some of you may be going, dish towels, this is not high on my list of things that really bug me, but I'm really going to change right now. So most of us don't go through a day without touching one. And if there are people who are not doing dishes in this audience, you need to probably start pitching in. But you pretty much grab a tea towel or a dish towel every single day. And I bet you have a drawer full. And I'm just going to wager that you always reach for the same one. Maybe you have 10 and you reach for the same 2 because they just do the job better. And you don't really know why. Well, I'm about to tell you why. We want a lot from our kitchen towels. We expect them to dry dishes, wipe counters, line baskets, cover baked goods, all while sitting out and looking pretty. But what else should we expect? Well, I want a kitchen towel that is also highly absorbent, dries quickly between uses, lasts for years, gets better with age, doesn't leave behind streaks or lint as it wipes, and adds a touch of style, personality, and panache to the kitchen. That's a pretty tall order. So, which brings me to a fun fact. The difference between a dish towel and a tea towel. Now, they're often interchangeable. You can call one the other, unless, and dish towels and tea towels can both be made of cotton or linen or a blend. But if it's made of terry cloth, it cannot be a dish towel. And it can be a dish towel, but not a tea towel, pardon me. And you don't want to get the terry ones because they catch crumbs, they don't dry, and they're not as hygienic. So we're going to wipe terry off the counter, so to speak. And we're going to focus on linen. The gold standard for tea towels in your kitchen, 100% linen. That's what you want to go for. Second best, which is okay, are cotton linen blends. There is a fabric called Linen Union, which is a blend of 55% linen and 45% cotton, and they're pretty good. Pure cotton tea towels are by far the most common, but they don't perform nearly as well as linen. So I would recommend that you pass on those and ditch the terry cloth. They're bulky to store besides not drying, and go for linen. So although people think cotton linen, aren't these interchangeable? Well, they're very different fabrics. They're from very different plants. Linen comes from the flax plant. Cotton comes from cotton plants, right? So the fibers used to make linen come much stronger, and they're just not nearly as durable. Linen is coarser, stronger, more breathable, and it's not going to leave behind any lint when it dries. So guarantee you'll be very happy if you use only linen dish towels, and they dry very fast. I recommend Irish or Belgian linen. There's some Chinese linen that is pretty thin and flimsy and doesn't quite do the job. I have one tea towel, this is a little embarrassing, that I bought 40 years ago, a linen tea towel, and I still have it. Yes, it's faded, but I still love it and it does the job. So for a quick kitchen upgrade, next slide, Julie. Go, be sure, for the next, well, I'm looking at that question. I will get to flour sack towels in a minute. For what you want to do when you look for a linen towel is get 100% linen. Look beyond the souvenir shops. So a lot of times you're on a vacation and you just get a whim and you buy a tea towel to bring it home, and it's cotton. Usually from the souvenir shops, it's cotton. So go to a higher end houseware store or a linen store, and really you'll pay a bit more, but go for the 100% linen and have fun with it. Select them as if you were picking out clothing for your kitchen. I think you'll just find they add such a little spark of joy. And again, I've already mentioned the Irish or Belgian linen. So that's my rant on tea towels. Let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, wine glasses. Next slide. So how many of you, and I have many different glasses, and you don't always know which one to grab given the wine. Maybe somebody wants white and somebody wants red glasses, and you come home with a 5-alarm headache, and you're probably asking yourself, why are there so many different kinds of wine glasses? Well, I went to a top sommelier and asked him that very question. And there aren't that many sommeliers in the country. You have to be very, very knowledgeable and very well trained and very good at your wine tasting. And I said, what is up with all the wine glasses? And do we really need different ones for different colored reds, whites, pinots, cabs, whatever? And besides, who has that kind of shelf space, right? And he said, some companies design a different glass for every type of wine, and it's a bit of a marketing shtick. I mean, there is some science to it, but realistically, one good universal wine glass is perfectly suitable for anything from summer afternoon white to your complex heavy red. Can we all breathe a sigh of relief? Though he appreciates the research and testing that goes into the different shapes, and as I said, there is a science to it, only the very effete few will care or notice. And if your friends are judging you based on your wine glasses, you need new friends. So most people don't have room in their budget, let alone their shelves, for a variety of shapes and sizes. So here's what you can get. This is what he recommends for the universal wine glass. You can put the next slide up, Julie. The one size fits all wine glass is 13 ounces to the brim. All right. So it works for white, rosé, red. I would say, and so would he, to properly serve champagne, you want a fluted or even a coupe, but a fluted champagne glass is appropriate for champagne. But for all the other wines, look for 13 ounces to the brim. If the glass is too big, you lose the aroma, and too narrow, it won't capture the bouquet. So 13-ounce pour, and no, you don't fill it to the top. It's room for a 4 to 6 ounce pour with enough nose room for you to take in the wine through your nose, which is what he says is the way we taste wine the most, is through what we smell. You also want a pear-shaped glass. The perfect all-around glass should be broader at the base than at the rim. And the bowl shape helps bring up the aromas. So when we're smelling, the other thing is you want stemless. So you see these people holding on to the stems of their glass, which is proper. The stemless wine glasses have become kind of trendy, and they're practical for picnics and times when the glasses might get knocked over, but avoid them for your all-purpose wine glass, because you have to do two things that are not best for the wine. You hold the bowl, which both gets your fingerprints all over it, and then you can't see the wine as well, but you also warm the wine or change its temperature, and you want to keep it at serving temperature. You also want to keep it clear. So although colored and etched glasses are pretty and they might look kind of novel, they will take away from the appearance of the wine, which is half of the appreciation. Crystal clear is often the best. Instead of glass, look for crystal. Crystal, the way you can tell is you've done that old thing where you clink the glass with a spoon, and if it has a nice long ringing sound, it's crystal, and if it goes thunk, it's glass. So thick glass impairs your ability to see the wine clearly. And it also is, it's thicker, and it creates these bumps on the edge. A good wine glass has a nice thin lip. The crystal can be thinner than glass, which is important. And the lip doesn't have what I think of as a collagen implant to it, right? The edge of your wine glass, go home, see if your wine glass has a little speed bump on the end. And no, you want it to be thin crystal and just smooth into your mouth. You don't want any bumps that impede the sip flow. So the one other little trick on wine glasses that I'll mention is to wash them properly. You have to wash them by hand, use a mild detergent, rinse them really well, rinse them twice. And you don't want that first aroma to be of joy detergent, right? Hand dry them with a linen towel, and don't hold the stem when you dry them so you don't twist it off. And you store them upright. Don't put them upside down on your shelf, because that traps the smell of your shelf, whatever's coming off of your wood or your laminate. And it also can chip the rim. So you want to store them upright to protect the rim and make sure no odors get inside. Hey, this is kind of fun, isn't it? You thought, what could I possibly learn about wine glasses and dish towels? But here we go. All right, so now we're going to move into the bedroom. Ready, Julie? I have a mantra. I have several mantras. You're going to hear a few more of them before I'm done today. But one of them is, the closer something is to your body, the better it should be. And that's what gets our bedding, what gets closer than our bedding. So in my book, I deconstruct the bed layer by layer, and we start with the mattress. I had an experience. I went to a hotel, and I was on a business trip, and I had the best night's sleep. I woke up feeling like I was 13. Every bone in my body was like brand new. I'm like, what's up with this mattress? I pulled up the covers. I took a picture of the tag, which turns out to be the exactly right thing to do. And I bought it. I bought the mattress, not that one, but one from that company. And I came home and looked at what I was sleeping on, and I didn't even know where this mattress came from. Some fraternity house. I don't know, I'm kidding, but it was old and time to retire it. So I started doing some research, and I learned, first of all, the mattress industry is a very squishy business. But I talked to a lot of people. I talked to spine doctors and mattress makers and sleep experts to get to the bottom of this crazy industry. And here's what I do know. What I do know is that it's not what was a 5-star mattress for me could be a 1-star for you. This is a very personal choice, and what works for me may not work for you. You may like, there's inner spring, there's latex, there's memory foam, there's air mattresses, there are water mattresses, there are pillow top mattresses, Sleep Number, adjustable beds. I'm not going to tell you what's right, but I will tell you this, that one of the worst ways to buy a mattress is lying on it in a retail store, which is what we typically do. there was a study out of Duke University that found that they studied people actually sleeping on their mattress, these various mattresses, to see what quality of sleep they had. And they compared that with this mattress they picked in the store, and they were almost always wrong. They almost always picked the mattress that wasn't best for them. So what do? You try to get a good night's sleep on one, which isn't the easiest thing to do. But if you're at a hotel or you're at a friend's house and the mattress is extraordinarily comfortable and you wake up feeling great, that's one to go consider. This is easier to do. Age. The biggest difference between a hotel mattress and most home mattresses is age. Hotels usually change their mattresses every 7 years. So its chances are you're sleeping on a newer mattress every time you go to a hotel. And if you aren't replacing your mattress every 10 years, you're going to be sleeping on something that's pretty inferior. Almost any new mattress is better than any old mattress. So age does matter in the mattress business. And the last thing I'll say about mattresses is the hotel quality is a pretty good idea to look into. Mattresses are built to a higher standard. They're commercial grade and they're stronger than residential mattresses. They use commercial grade foam, which is denser and more resilient. Their mattress covers are thicker. Their inner springs will be a higher gauge. The box springs typically provide stronger support, and their edges they're firm up to the edge. On a residential mattress, you can kind of roll off of the edge, but hotels make their edges very firm because they know people are leaning up against them. So a hotel grade mattress is worth looking into. So if you're in the market for a new mattress, I would suggest you take a look at that. And one last thing I'll say about mattresses, and this goes back to the back pain issue, because a lot of people have that, including my lower back is often stiff. I sit a lot all day. And I asked a spine doctor, can a mattress cause a backache or cure it? No mattress will cause or cure a back problem, but a bad mattress can exacerbate a back condition and a good one can provide relief. So next slide, please. So in summary, when choosing a mattress, you want to sleep on it. Know that any new mattress is better than an old one. You want to replace it every 7 to 10 years, and consider a hotel mattress. It's worth investigating. Oh, you should also look at the return policy. Those are pretty tricky, but if you're going to bring it home and sleep on it and you want to return it, make sure you know whether that's an option. So next we're going to talk about sheets. Okay, remember we talked about the closer something is to your body, the better it should be. Well, even closer than the mattress are your sheets, right? So much of what I learned about sheets came from a person who's now a friend of mine, Missy Tannen. And Missy is the founder of Boll & Branch. And I'm not recommending her sheets per se, though they're great. But she does hit the property. She knows the property of a good sheet, which is what we're talking about. And she got into the business because she and her husband remodeled their bedroom. And she was a school teacher. She wasn't in this business at all. And she went in search of the perfect linens to outfit their bedroom and couldn't find what she wanted. And her husband offhandedly said, so why don't you make them? Well, one thing led to another. And in 2014, she launched Boll & Branch, which today is one of the world's largest makers of luxury sheets. So I've talked to her many times over the years, and I like that she had kind of a feminine sensibility and an attention to detail, which is what she taught me to look for in these sheets. So, bed sheets are one of those things that I had several in my closet that didn't breathe, they didn't fit the mattress right, they were pilling, they were uncomfortable, and I didn't know what I was getting wrong. So here's how to pick. You can go to the next slide, Julie. First of all, again, Missy likes soft sateen sheets. I like percale. There's no right or wrong here. You just need to know, do you like a crispy cotton sheet, which is percale, or a smooth satiny sheet, which is sateen? Both can be dreamy and if they're of the right quality, but the difference is in the weave, and you just have to know what you like. So you also want to know that you have 100% cotton. No synthetic, not 1%, not 2%, anything but cotton, 100% organic cotton. And yes, I know it wrinkles, and I know a little synthetic can make the sheets wrinkle free, but if you want sheets that breathe and don't smother you, 0 synthetic. And I know I'm going to get a rash of rage on this one, but no bamboo either. They don't breathe. They know they're soft and silky, but it's just not cotton, in my opinion. You want combed cotton, which means all the little short fibers have been combed out of it. So you're not going to get those slubs and lumps and pills. that ultimately are uncomfortable. You just get long, clean cotton fibers which resist pilling. And you also, the certified organic part means the maker chemicals during the manufacturing process. So I'm sure you guys know about the pilling, like when you have a cheap sweater or t-shirt and the cotton isn't combed well, you're gonna get out for cheap tricks. Sheet makers often coat their sheets when you're going to the store and you're feeling them in this waxy chemical that gives them a shiny, slick feel. And these additives just gloss over the imperfections that are underneath the surface. After a few washings, you'll find them to be what they are. So that's something to watch out for. If they feel too slick, they feel like they have a coating on them. They also cut corners, and I mean literally. How many of you have ever tried to put a fitted sheet on a bed and it's just not big enough? It doesn't quite reach around. Well, they're just kind of getting skimpy on the fabric. You want generous corners. You want to measure the dimensions of your mattress, make sure it's going to be a generous fit. Now, thread count is something almost everyone has been taught to look for, and you think, oh, it needs to be over 300 thread count. And there is some truth to that, but manufacturers cheat. So here's what you have to know about thread count. Thread count, like if an actual thread can be made up of 2 or 3 plies of cotton twisted together. So, well, yes, a 300 count thread count is a very nice quality sheet. Some claim they have 450, 500, 750 thread count when they're really counting plies. So read the fine print, dig down and find out that, a great sheet will have a single ply thread count of 300 to 400. Single ply thread count of 300 to 400. Higher than that is just probably not possible unless they're counting plies. So that's a little dirty trick. You also want to look at those finer details, the space between the stitching. The smaller the stitches, the more fine the sheets will be. And that's the pillowcase edging will be finer, and that separates ordinary bed linens from a more luxury linen. Now, because they can be expensive, and we're talking $100 to $200 for a good set of sheets, you may want to test drive, and I recommend you try the pillowcases first. Just order a set of pillowcases, wash them a couple times before you invest in the full set, and make sure you love the feel of them, because again, it's personal. So now we know how to buy sheets. No more clogging up your cupboards with sheets that you don't love. And you probably only need 2 sets, one to put on your bed and one to change, and then you're washing the other one. So I think that is already taking a load out of your linen closet. All right, now we're going to move on to the bathroom. You with me? 2 things to talk about in the bathroom. One is, I think it's important to think about your bathroom as being a sanctuary. And if it feels more like a locker room, then maybe it's time to upgrade some things. Because talk about, again, close to your body, the better it should be. Now we're going to talk about towels and soap, also very close to your body. So how do you pick the towel? Now, they do the same thing. I know what people do. I've done it myself. They go to the towel department and they feel the towels and they want something that's really plush and slick, silky, because it just feels so nice. But guess what? It's covered with sizing. It's coated with something the manufacturers know will make you fall in love with them. You dump 4 sets in your cart, and next thing after a few washings, it doesn't feel at all like the same towel that you bought. It probably is drying you better, but it doesn't feel like what you bought. So that that feels soft feeling is not what you ultimately want in your towel. You want them to feel a little rough. You want a thirsty towel. So that sizing that feels so silky and soft, actually, when you try to dry yourself, it pushes the water around like a squeegee. It doesn't absorb. So what you want is not that sizing feel, but how do you pick it out? How do you find it? You want soft enough, not too soft, thirsty and mid-weight. Too thick and your towel doesn't dry between your bathings, and it can get smelling like mildew and be icky. So here's our list, Julie. You want 100% high-grade cotton with a long staple length. Egyptian cotton is a very good cotton. Pima is also good. It is stronger and won't leave lint. You look at the towel from the side, the profile, and you want to see how high the pile is or the loop of the cotton. Inferior towels are skimpy. They skimp on the pile height. Think of a gym towel. But you want that happy medium. Too thick and they don't dry. So get a medium weight towel. And you also want all the little loops to have a twist in them. And that twist is what makes the towel thirsty. It wicks up the water. So you want that really thirsty towel with the twist and a not too long wick. Again, look for the details. That fine stitching is the sign of a better towel. And I'm going to get some blowback on this too, but I would say stick with white. White has nothing to hide. They never fade. And if you do wash your face cloth 3 times more than your hand towel, the set will still match. Plus, asking your towels to add color to your bathroom is like asking your toilet paper to be a decorative accessory. These are service items. Get the color in your bathroom with your artwork and window treatments. Skip the embellishments. When you have ribbons or embroidery or things like that on a towel, they tend to shrink at a different rate. And it's going to cause your towel to not look so terrific. So keep towels simple. And again, take one for a test drive. Maybe buy a face cloth before you buy a whole set or a hand towel and wash it a few times and see how it works for you. All right, last, I know this is like a super fast speed date, guys, and I'm zooming through this stuff, but I hope it gets you the idea. Last is, I think this is so easy. Your life is going to get instantly better here too. But again, talk about something close to your body, soap. What is it about soap? You get what, Irish Spring, Dove, whatever the palm olive. I don't know what people get anymore. I haven't bought it in so long, but these are not fine soaps. And here's one of my mantras: every day is all there is, so use the good stuff. When you're using a soap and you're having that moment and you're getting your hygiene, make it beautiful. And as long as we're dedicated to living well, this is definitely something you want to do. So here's some soap science. Soaps are a combination of fat and lye. When fat and lye combine, they create crystals. Crystals are rough on your skin. Soap makers refine the crystals by milling the soap, usually 1 time. But the more milling makes for a finer soap. So here's your secret. You want triple milled. That's your secret. Running the soap 3 or more times, a process the French perfected, which is why we have French milled soap and triple milled soap, is what you want to look for. It makes a soap harder, smoother. A bar lasts longer. Yes, it's more expensive, but it lasts longer. The lather is finer and thicker and richer and creamier, and it's way better on the skin. So I highly recommend you go. And I get it at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods. You can get it at fancier stores for more money, but these are like $3.49 a bar, and I'm all about it. So I also caution you to get, away from fake scents, because sometimes some makers of specialty soaps force in these fake scents that just, you want your perfume to be your fragrance, not your soap. So choosing soap, Julie, get triple milled and don't fall for false scents. So we've talked about tea towels and wine glasses and mattresses and sheets and towels and soap. And now you know how to, all of you know how to buy these items right the first time. And I encourage you to practice the buy it right principle for everything you buy. Do your homework and figure out what makes a great household product great before you purchase it. Now, I'll just say in closing, I know this sounds, I feel like such a snob when I talk like this about all these things. And although I don't think of myself as a snob, I do wonder how the product of a very middle-class family, public schools, trailer vacations, casserole dinners, get so fussy. And awareness is the culprit. Once you discover the difference between polyester sheets and pure cotton, or thick-rimmed and thin-rimmed wine glasses, you will never go back. Anything else will feel like a demotion. So that brings me to my last mantra: a small amount of great beats a lot of mediocre. So ultimately, living well in your right-sized home means having just enough house in just the right place with the fewest best performing household goods possible. And buying the right stuff and ditching the not so good stuff is the difference between living and living well. The good stuff.
Well,
That's all
yay.
for today. I hope
Thank
we have
you.
some questions. I'm happy to field those.
We sure do. A whole bunch. Barbara wants to know, is it easy to locate hotel grade mattresses? And if so, where do you even start?
Well, if you go to a nice hotel and you enjoy their mattress, that's one place to start. When you're just on a vacation and you have a great mattress and a great night's sleep, pull up the end of the bed and take a picture.
Do what you did.
The
Yeah.
best place to do it. And you can
What?
also go to like Fairmont hotels or Marriott hotels and just see what their mattresses are and see if there's a way you can go sleep where they are and you might go sleep
Were
on them,
they?
spend the night there.
Speaking of which, what the mattress that you found that you loved, CJ wants to know what was the specific mattress that you bought, and if you don't mind sharing.
I knew you're gonna ask. I can tell you, do this for me. Go Google Marnie Jameson Mattress Matters. I wrote a 4-part series on it, and I'm not shoving you off because I don't remember, but it was a Fairmont brand, and I was staying at a Swiss hotel, and the mattresses were by Fairmont, and I took a picture and I found it, but I did write about it, and I know I got rid of a Sears Posturepedic, so don't get
To
that.
do it. Okay, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I was an upgrade.
Speaking of mattresses that have a reputation, Karen wants to know what's your opinion on the Sleep Number mattresses?
If you love it, get it. And it's really
Yeah.
great because it's different. Because your partner has a different preference and you like a soft bed and he likes a hard one. It's nice to have that Sleep Number. So yeah,
Yeah,
get,
that's my house.
it saves marriages. I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's my house for sure. CJ again wants to know this time about dish towels. What about microfiber? There was a lot of conversation about that in the chat as well. What think you?
That's good stuff. I like microfiber for cleaning counters and for cleaning around the house.
Yeah.
If that works for you, that's fine. It's not going to cover your cookies. It's not going to look pretty in your kitchen. It doesn't do all the things that I want a tea towel to do, but they function well.
Yeah, fair enough. Susan wants to know Egyptian cotton towels, which are the best? What brands do you recommend?
See, now I'm careful not to select brands because it really depends on the property, not the brand. And I just would look very closely at the label and read. If it's Egyptian or Pima cotton, it will say. It would also say 100% cotton. And if it doesn't say some other kind of special cotton, it's not that special cotton. So, and again, I would try the hand towel, bring it home, see if it does its job. But you want to look for that special cotton.
So reading labels, I guess, is the bottom
Mhm.
line, right?
Yeah.
Well, that
Yes.
that segues into a question that Dana has. Dana wants to know if you'll share. It would be really helpful to know some brand names that you like and where to buy. Again, you avoid brand names. She says
Yeah, I do to some degree. In my book, I do lean into a couple brands that just come out so swimmingly on top every time.
uh,
But I do like to talk about the properties. And when I do go to brands, I'm working with like America's Test Kitchens, whose job it is to test 100 pans and tell you which one's the best at the end of the day. And there's a
right.
whole section on pans that I learned changed my cooking. Became a much better cook because I changed my pans. And I do mention brands, but I do like Boll and Branch because I know where it comes from and I know the makers and I trust their products and they do sheets and towels.
Mhm.
But there are other really wonderful companies out there.
Great. Michelle has a question about caring for those towels, those white towels. I've read no bleach, hard with white, not to use bleach sometimes, and no fabric softener. Thoughts on that? What?
True, true. And I kind of misspoke because I was saying this. I'm like, well, that's not entirely true. When I said white never changes color, I learned from someone recently, a laundry expert, that white is a color. You cannot necessarily get your whites whiter because it is a dye and it fades just like any dye fades. And if your white towels start looking dingy, it's not because they're dirty, it's because the dye is wearing out. So you can't do anything about that. So a way to keep your whites whiter longer is by not using super hot water and not bleach and never use a softener. The softener will put that waxy coating that prevents the towels from being.
Oh, Marnie, you broke up. I'm sorry, say that again.
And in my book, by the way, and after every section, I have care instructions. So it helps you talk about how to take care of all these different things that you're buying carefully. But did you hear about the towels, not to use softener? Did you get that?
Say it again because we broke up during that very crucial part when you were giving the advice.
Sorry. Yeah. So with towels, again, you can lose the whiteness. You may not get it back once the dye wears away. So a way to prevent losing the whiteness of your towels is to keep the water not too hot, cool or slightly warm. Water is good. No bleach unless it's non-chlorine bleach, even if they're white towels, and no softener. Softener is going to put that waxy coating that you get in the stores that cause this towels not to be thirsty. So never use softener.
So basically, I've been doing everything wrong, is what you're telling me.
There was a time I was too, Sam. I was right there.
Angela wants to know, Marnie, do you use WWG Healthy Living? I don't know what that is.
Do I use it? No, I don't know.
Does Marnie use WWG Healthy Living?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either. So Barbara, again, where do you buy the hotel grade mattresses? We've addressed that. What do you mean when you refer to your book by right sizing? This is from Teresa.
Yeah. So right sizing is choosing or deciding you are in the right spot. The best home for you that is a financial, social, emotional, and another piece, fit, size, fit for you. For the family, maybe you were a family of 10 and now you're a family of 2, and your house should adjust to who's in your house now. So the right size for who you are today, that's a good financial fit and a good social fit for your friends and the things you love to do. So there's exercises in the book that really helps you decide what is that for you. And you can compare, like, let's say it's Iowa versus Nevada, and you can list it, and there are exercises that will tally it up, and you can decide which is the best place for you. Place and also size of house.
Great. I just want to point out to everybody who's asking questions about the mattress articles, etc. We put Marnie's website in the chat, and then we'll have a slide later with it. So you're going to have all this information. Don't worry, folks, you will have it. We have one final question that came in early from Sandy. Wants to know, I'm wondering if you can advise on how to store files. Sandy's done extensive family history and has dozens of folders of material. It's currently in a bedroom on a card table and in a coat closet. She says, my sons have grown, so I have their 2-bedroom closets, but seem to store large comforters and holiday pillows in one, and the other we store Costco-sized toilet paper and paper towels. What can you recommend for those files?
So this is what I would do. There are people who are digital organizers, and they're experts, they're organizers for paper. And under they've changed their name. The National Association of Professional Organizers has now a couple more letters in it, NAPO. But you can find people that are not only just your zip code, but specializing in digital organizing, and they can help you make sense of those files and digitize them and put them on hard drives and thumb drives and put them in safe deposit boxes, share them with family members as relevant, and really take a load out of your home.
That's a great idea. I said this was the last question. I lied. There's one more, and this was again a very hot topic of discussion in the chat. Carol wants to know, linen towels wrinkle so much. Does that matter to you? What do you say about
linen towels or linen sheets?
She says linen towels. You were talking about.
Oh, yes, linen tea towels. Well, you're gonna now shoot arrows at me. I iron mine.
Yeah, crazy.
I know it's not happening. Now, I will say, yes, they do wrinkle, and I like mine ironed. I know, but I will say there are linen people who are super into linen, and there's a company called Rough Linen, and I've interviewed them. They believe that you should never iron linen, that the beauty of linen is its rumpled natural state. Do not sweat, do not fret. That goes for your clothes as well as your tablecloths and your napkins. I really can't stand it. So I iron mine, but that's entirely up to you. But the function is there whether they're ironed or not.
Okay, so the rumpled shabby chic is fine then, right?
Really fine.
All right.
Yeah, you have my permission. Yeah. And I will go back to that mattress thing. It's a 4-part series, Mattress Matters. So go Google Marnie Jameson Mattress Matters, and you should be able to find 1, 2, 3, 4. And it really goes into a lot more detail about mattresses. So I know there's a lot of mattress questions. That's a big one.
And speaking of questions, next time, do you want to tell them what you're doing next time?
Yes, there was one last slide, but I think we skipped over it, Julie. Oh, maybe I didn't. No, I didn't have a slide. I lied.
No.
I didn't make one, but it's your questions answered. That is my next seminar with you all, November 14th. I hope you come back and join me for your lunch hour then. And I'm yours. I am an open book. Ask me anything that I'll tell you if I can't answer it, but I'll answer anything I can. And send your answers in ahead of time to give me a jump start. And we are just going to have a fun discussion just like this.
We are, and I have to tell you, in the chat, someone mentioned that you are better than Consumer Reports. So there you go. Anyway, Marty, again, thank you. That's all the time we have today. Thank you again for this wonderful series. And thanks, Julie Corlett, our wonderful production manager behind the scenes. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed Right Size today with Marnie. And don't forget to look for her in our newspapers. Next month, as she mentioned, she'll be answering questions directly. Send those queries to events@scng.com and we will compile everything. And you can register for the next Right Size and all of our upcoming programs and catch up on the ones you've missed by going to scng.com/virtual events. If you'd like to share your thoughts from today, or if you have additional questions, please email us at events@scng.com or Marnie directly at marniejamison.com. Hey, and a final reminder, if you are not a subscriber but want to get in on all the entertainment and the information we offer day in and day out, and help us continue that mission, please go to scng.com/subscribe to find your local paper. And in the Bay Area, go to bayareanewsgroup.com and find what looks good to you. Thanks again. I just want to point out that we've got a lot of great shows coming up. Please send Marnie questions. She's the font of all information in the universe. So we'll see you next month. Bye, Marnie. Bye, everybody. Thanks
Hi,
again for your
Sam. Thanks,
support.
everyone.